I recently had to experience something that scarred me for life, but what I did after was even crazier. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. My husband David waited until the waiter cracked the sugar on our crème brûlée before leaning in and hissing, "Rachel, I regret marrying you. You're simply not good enough." His tone was so casual it felt rehearsed, like he'd practiced insulting me in the mirror. The chandelier glimmered overhead, but the room shrank to the width of that single sentence. I tasted copper. My own cheek was bleeding where I'd bitten down to keep from shouting. David pocket-checked his phone. A smiley face from work trip buddy Marissa lit his screen, then waved the waiter away as if I were a disappointing entree he planned to send back. 10 years of hostess smiles and double knot ties shattered in one breath, and somehow I was still sitting upright, smoothing the napkin across my lap like manners could mend bone. Back home, just past midnight, the January cold slapped sense into me as I paced the driveway. Every crunch of gravel under my boots sounded like a gavel. Grandma Cole used to say, "A smart woman keeps spare parachutes." I still had mine, a hidden trust fund, a law degree I'd shelved to help build David's precious marketing agency, and an iron-clad prenup he'd always assumed was decorative. I opened my laptop, logged into our joint accounts, and watched my pulse spike when I saw $48,000 missing, labeled emergency staging. Cute. I archived screenshots, photographed every statement, and created a private folder called Armor. 3 hours later, sun not yet up, I slipped my old iPad into David's Tesla as a navigation backup. The tablet still pinged my iCloud. If he wanted to wander, I wanted postcards. At dawn, I brewed coffee so strong it smelled like asphalt and nodded to myself. Step 1, capture data. Step 2, leverage data. Step 3, make him wish he'd paid attention in contract law. Friday, 5 a.m., he kissed my cheek and announced an Atlanta pitch meeting. He smelled like vanilla lotion that wasn't mine. By noon Atlanta time, the iCloud feed rolled in. David and Marissa outside a boutique hotel, her lipstick bruise on his neck, a $92 room service breakfast for two. Hurt stabbed, but fury cauterized it fast. I forwarded the photos to a fresh evidence folder and, between swigs of black coffee, shifted my salary into Grandma's trust. Bank clerks never question calm women in blazers. They just slide the papers across and stamp the transfers. That night, I watched snow swirl outside the kitchen window, the scent of burnt cinnamon from my forgotten toast filling the house. For a heartbeat, I was 8 again, sledding with Grandma. Her wool gloves smelled exactly like scorched sugar. The memory softened me, then steeled me. Grandma would expect precision, not tears. On Sunday evening, David returned, cheeks wind-burned, soul unchafed. He tossed artisanal chocolate on the counter the way a parent bribes a cranky toddler. I greeted him with envelope-flat eyes and served preliminary divorce papers over reheated rigatoni. He laughed, uncapped a Mont Blanc, and scrawled his signature. "You'll walk with pennies," he sneered, tapping the prenup clause he thought favored him. I smiled, thinking of the board vote dated for my 40th birthday, 2 weeks away, when my trust would slide me a 51% stake in Larson & Cole Walsh, the boutique firm he worshipped. The promotion gala glimmered 2 Fridays later. Rooftop bar, fairy lights, $200 champagne. I stepped from the elevator in emerald silk, clutching a thumb drive like a detonator. When the microphone passed to me, I cleared my throat. Before we toast, due diligence compels me to address a personnel matter. Behind me, the LED screen flared to life. David's hotel selfies, the diverted funds, company policy citing zero-tolerance misconduct. Gasps ricocheted. HR escorted him out. Marissa slipped into the stairwell. I sipped champagne that tasted like justice and nearly laughed at the silence he'd left behind. Hours later, he burst into the house, face blotched cranberry red, and hurled our Santorini vase. Crystals shattered behind me. "You humiliated me," he roared. I folded laundry with glacial calm. "Correction. You documented your own downfall. I just released the minutes." My voice felt steady, but my heart rabbit-kicked. I logged his outburst into my phone. Documentation beats intimidation, and called my attorney Simone at dawn. By Wednesday, David had filed a fault divorce claiming emotional cruelty. Projection is a fragile drug. Simone, once my dorm mate and now a litigation shark, laughed so loudly I had to hold the phone away. She drafted subpoenas for his bank records, Marissa's testimony, and the Tesla's GPS logs. Each time David flexed, Simone counterfiled harder. Meanwhile, I repossessed the Tesla, title in both our names, and parked it outside his golf club with a "for sale cheap" sign. Pride may outrun shame, but it never outruns paperwork. Mid-February, the courthouse smelled like bleached floors and stale ambition. David arrived in a bespoke suit that suddenly looked off the rack. Simone laid out a timeline of emotional abuse, financial siphoning, and corporate misconduct so tight the judge barely blinked between exhibits. David's defense wobbled. "She made me feel small." The judge's stare could have frozen lava. Verdict: prenup upheld. Restitution of $62,000 to me. Public record of misconduct voiding any executive eligibility for 5 years, and mandatory anger management. Outside, Marissa waited, not with flowers, but with her own lawsuit for unpaid loans. When she thrust the envelope at him, we shared a silent, scarred sister nod. 2 days later, a quiet morning sun lit my new office, the same corner suite David once called "out of my league." I renamed the company Rachel Cole Creative and launched an 8-week return-to-work fellowship for mothers edged out by caregiving gaps. Cameras clicked as I clipped a crimson ribbon. Around my neck hung the Tesla key on a silver chain, tiny lightning bolt winking under studio lights. Viewers erupted in heart emojis. I thought of Grandma's gloves again, how they smelled of burnt sugar and snow, and felt her pride settle across my shoulders like a shawl. David texted endless apologies, therapy promises, fresh starts, accidental regrets. I let the phone vibrate face down until the battery died. Some ghosts deserve no haunting. That evening, my sister Danny arrived with sourdough and Gruyere. We grilled sandwiches, laughing so hard melted cheese stringed between us like gold ribbon. Happiness, it turns out, smells like butter and quiet rooms. At dusk, I walked the riverfront. City lights jittered on the water. I toyed with the lightning bolt key, lifting it toward the current, then tucking it back beneath my collar. My phone chimed. A fellowship applicant had nailed her first interview. Tears pricked, but these were warm, not scalding. I whispered the line I'd practiced for weeks, a closing moral tighter than any bow. Never confuse kindness with weakness. Then I exhaled, feeling the universe exhale right back. I believe stories like this find us for a reason. If this one touched you, please subscribe. I share a new one every day, and tomorrow's might be the one your heart's been waiting for.